Okay, I think we're good. So, hello everybody. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be successful in everything you do. So, we have 8 people who receive certificate. As always, in all of our courses, it's necessary to fulfill at least 8 days out of the 10 days for the course. And if you fulfill at least 8 days, if you do at least 8 tests, then you are evaluated. But you need to have at least 50 points. If you have 50 or more points, then you get a certificate. If you do not have at least 50 points, well, then still you can get a certificate if you attended 10 days. If you attend every single day, every single test, then still you get a certificate. But we didn't have anyone who would attend 10 days and get less than 50 points. Those who attended 8 days, 8 tests or more, all of them got at least 50 points. So we do not actually have a certificate for those who attended every day but were not successful. Everybody who attended every day was very successful. So in my tests, always remember, attend. That's it. Nothing else matters. Okay? Learn, no learn, doesn't matter. Have time, no learn, no, doesn't matter. Must come. Okay? Otherwise, it's just so sad, for everybody. Like if you attend 7 times and nothing. That's the way it is. So always attend. That's what matters. Okay, so I would like to ask Manuyana to share the certificates, the screen with the certificates.
Oh, okay. So share the screen only. All right.
We will be sharing only the certificate pictures.
Okay. It should be this one. Do you want like this?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly what I want. Nice. So Manuyana, like the organizer herself, was actually the best of all. Got excellent score. Maybe organizing the course made her more enthusiastic to study, who knows. But I'm very happy for this success, and I hope that we will have more golden certificates after the other 10 tests. So we continue. From next week, we continue by exercise 11. And I hope that you will be all encouraged by our efforts and maybe find enough energy and enthusiasm to study and to learn and remember. Using Anki is very powerful. Manvina, do you have any tips or tricks that you could tell the others that helped you in studying?
Okay, I can share, but actually I'm not really dedicated to the study of Pali, but somehow I try to study over the weekend and one or 2 day in the weekday. So just a few hours of walking on Anki, and I try to write an Anki walk every little walk in the vocabulary. So I try to write all the forms and then try to memorize it, especially on the exercise that we do, and also on the tasks that we that we have. So I think the test is very useful. That's why I got the ticket, the golden certificate.
I see. Do you use Anki only in computer, or do you use it only in phone, iPad, or in both?
I don't use Anki on my phone and iPad. I use on browser. I use it on my browser and my MacBook. So I have two PC, one with Windows. So Windows I can use it, and also in my MacBook I can use it. So it's easier for me to check because with my phone screen and iPad screen is too little for me to study. So I prefer on browser. So
I see. The
and
book might be too small, but if you use Anki, I can show you how big it is. Like it actually should be pretty big. In if I use this font, for example, no. Let me see. So I have here iPad, and I have here several languages. So here, for example, you see it's actually very big,
okay.
very big. And
Okay.
if I touch it like this, I get the translation is here. And the buttons are also very big. So if it is on a phone, I think it's still relatively good. You see? The problem with Anki on iPad is that it's expensive. But if you can afford and if you think it's worth it, I think it's worth it. Because this is amazing. I can just walk around the room and I can walk here and there and go in car and just pop up the iPad and start learning. But it's expensive. That's true. So yeah, that's great. So you use Anki and you use it about, let's say, 2 hours during the week and an hour or two Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, that's my usual practice.
How long time does it take to you to mark down the new vocabulary?
It takes so long because I don't have any I don't know some of the letter like and with dot above or and, so it's sometimes very difficult for me and it takes much time.
I see. You know what? I will tell you a trick. If you have, if you do not have a font, I know there is a font and I can teach that to you, but let's look at that sometime later. I will now teach you a shortcut. So whenever you have, there's a so-called Val-Thuys system. It's called Val-Thuys system, and it's a system of writing down these languages such as Pali or Sanskrit and other languages in very easy form. So you don't need any new font, you don't need to install anything, nothing at all. It's not so beautiful, but it's easy to get used to it. I used it also before I got the system to type up directly in the Pali form. So it's very common actually whenever you have, whenever you need to just quickly write down. So you may like to consider that. So for this, whenever it is a dot with dot below, you write the dot before. Okay. So for example, Attakatha. Okay. So Attakatha in the proper font is Attakatha. This is how it should look like. But if you don't have the font, you can write A.T.T.H.A.K.A.T.H And because you have the dot before the letter, immediately you know, so that's the dot that's meant to be under the letter. And when it is a line above, you do double. You see? Attakatha. So this is the basics, okay? Then there are some special. For example, nya and ma. For nya, you need to use tiled. You will need to use US keyboard. So you have tiled and n. You see? So nya, you would write S, tiled, N. Do you see that? And for nga with dot above, you would write quotes and N. Do you see that?
Yes.
So this way you can write anything you want. With this, you can write anything you want. You will need US keyboard because UK keyboard does not have tiled, does not have this little wave. You need US keyboard for the little wave, or you need to remember the code, the numerical code for that.
Yes, I want to share one thing I have downloaded from our website for the keyboard.
Yes.
Let me try. From this website, I can get the
We
keyboard.
cannot hear it. We cannot see it. It seems that you're sharing the window rather than screen.
Okay, I try to share again. It's not. Yeah, this is another window. Actually, I collect some of those keyboard from tptega.org. From this website, they have a keyboard provided for both Windows and Mac OS. So I have downloaded and installed in both, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
I see.
What
I use is a little different. It is called, what is it called? Page Plus Keyboard. It's called Page Plus Keyboard. And it's not so easy to find it online. But the amazing thing with Page Plus Keyboard is that you can use it also for other languages. For example, I use it for both French and also for Pali. Because Page Plus Keyboard, allows you to add these little dots and lines and things like this and commas wherever you want. And it has a huge wealth of these abilities. It is actually, the version that I have is made also for Czech, but I use Czech keyboard for the Czech. So I can share the link to download that. I have it somewhere in Pixel Brain. Let's see. Should be there. That's right. Page Plus Keyboard. So anyone can download it from there. You install it, and it will appear to you just like you have your Singapore English and you have your Burmese keyboard. When you press Win space in Windows, you're using Mac, so something else. Then I'm not sure whether there's something for Mac that I don't know. This one is for Windows solution, and it works so reliably. It is very reliable. There might be something for Mac. You will have to search and find Plus for Mac. Oh, no idea. Maybe Mac has a different system that's better. For Windows, I can say that this is very reliable. You may like to check this website and do some research. You will know better because you can try it out in Mac, and then you will see what works and what doesn't. It's a forum question and answers, so there are some suggestions, and you will see. You will have to find out for yourself what seems to work or not. So there is Page Plus also suggested, but it doesn't open to me, maybe because I'm in Vietnam. So you will need to try out and see for yourself. All right, so let's continue with the certificates.
Okay, let me share again. Not only.
So Anki is the way. Did you hear it, everybody? Anki is the way. Nice. So let's look at the next person. We have blue tier. So the golden tier is from 80 to 100. When the students are rare for the higher tier, I decide that 80 to 100 is golden tier. If there are many, for the golden tier, then of course it is 90 to 100, the golden tier. So this time it was 80 to 100. So that means 70 to 80 is the blue tier, is the second level. So Mintam has exceptional level, has achieved the level of exceptional. And then you can continue. Let's move to another person. Yes. Pham Thị Mỹ Tiên. Do we have her here? I don't see her. Didn't come for the graduation ceremony. I actually myself didn't come for graduation ceremony for my BA degree. So if somebody doesn't come, I'm like, that's like me. So Pham Thị Mỹ Tiên also has got exceptional. Continue. Hương Nguyen has got also exceptional. I'm using the font that you wrote in when you sign yourself at the end of the test. So just now I realized that some of the diacritics, some of the spelling is not correct, but I just copy pasted it or I copied it from how you signed yourself to the test. So always remember, please, when you do the test, at the end when it asks you for the name, write it nicely with all of those little dots and commas and hooks and smaller hooks and whatever you have there in your name, so that we are all happy that the name is properly written. Yes, please. Let's continue. And the next tier is the green tier. Seems like Miyake didn't come here. That's the first time she didn't come. So that's the tier from 60 to 70. And you can continue. You have the last tier, 50 to 59. And that's Nguyen Thi Minh Tâm. Still admirable. It's most importantly admirable that you are all so patient, that you came to the meeting and you did the test, and then you were waiting until I come, and then we were looking at the answers, and you continued to learn. Some of you may have felt that when you did your exercise 10, you already know well, so you can continue. Instead, we downgraded from the very beginning, and we started to do the review. And I can see that many people actually dropped off from the review, probably because they thought, that's so easy, I can do that. And then when the test time comes, I don't have time for that. It's just a review. Okay. And then not only that they do not have enough points, but they also cannot be evaluated because they don't even have, 8 tests finished. So those of you who have come for 8 times or more, you're truly exceptional. We had 25 people starting with this course. Yeah. We ended up with 8 people getting a certificate. So 33%. Yeah, that's exceptional. All right, let's continue. Han Nguyen, very well, also admirable. And then the last person, Zhao Thi Tan Bin. So these are our graduated students. If you did not graduate for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You're most welcome to continue in the course, and we all start from anew. So the previous results are not considered. We continue with exercise 11, regardless how you learned before, regardless what you know, what you learn, and so on. I would suggest that you make sure that you have properly reviewed the vocabulary and the grammar from the previous lessons, because of course the higher exercises are dependent on the previous knowledge. So if you don't have the previous knowledge well established, well, then of course it will be difficult to continue. Things will probably not get too much more difficult, because now you have crossed the shock. Now you are beyond the shock about what actually is Pali language. So I think now it will be a little bit more engaging, a little bit more interesting, less shocking, more vocabulary, more grammar, and more happiness that you can do it, that you can understand, that you can learn it. So the first shock is always the most difficult. As you can see, only 33% out of you, only about, well, 40% out of you have crossed over that shock period. So now you have this amazing opportunity to learn. If you do not continue in this course, that could be a little bit pity, because you would forget that very beginning. All right, and this very beginning is the engine behind very successful progress in learning the language. So I would like to encourage you all to remind yourself of this great work that you have done and continue, because there is so much more to learn and there is so much more to benefit from. As soon as you learn Pali, you have the full access to the Pali scriptures. Learning Pali is the necessary basics to understand Burmese. And Burmese is the necessary language to know Buddhism. Okay, but without Pali, you cannot really use Burmese to learn. So first level is Pali, second level is Burmese, and then the door is open to all of the knowledge. I don't believe that without Burmese you have full access to the scriptures. I don't think so. Because many of the Pali words, you know, are not well explained or translated even into Sinhalese language, even possibly in Thai and so on, because these languages, they are systematically similar to Pali. So when they translate, they fake translate. They fake the translation. They just change a little bit the suffix, change the prefix, and that's the translation. But it's not really translated. You know, it's rather transcribed. It is not really translated. In Burmese, it is translated, because Burmese is so different from Pali language that they cannot fake it. And because they cannot fake it, they must understand and fully translate it. And that's the amazing thing about the Burmese translations, that they do not have any fake translations. They fully translate it. And Burmese has another amazing thing. Burmese is a syllabic language. So every syllable, or almost every syllable, has its specific meaning. And when the Burmese masters, when they translate Pali into Burmese, they do not translate the Pali word by one syllable or two syllables. That's the way how they speak. Like when the Burmese people speak, they'll say one syllable, everybody knows what's going on. Or they will say two syllables, everybody knows what's going on. You know? In Vietnamese, you have the same system. It's the same system like in Vietnamese. And instead, the Burmese masters, when they translate the Pali language, to make 100% sure that everybody fully understands the Pali word, they don't use one word, one syllable, or two syllables, or three syllables. They use 4 syllables or 8 syllables. Each and every syllable has very similar meaning. And so you have amazing understanding of what that word means. It's like if you translated it by 8 synonyms, except that you use it as one word. So you have like 8 synonyms to translate that one word. So you're 100% sure what that meaning, you know, the scope of that meaning is in that context. The other languages, even if they translate, they will translate it by one word. But in Burmese, that translation is not only a true translation, so it translates into language that people use in Myanmar, but it provides you with several synonyms at once. So the Burmese translations are, I believe, the best possible translations that can be. So we are very lucky that Myanmar is a Buddhist country and they got Buddhism, you know? Because if they didn't, like with the Sri Lankan translations, no, it's not enough. Not sufficient, not comparable. In Myanmar, they also have this amazing dictionary, which was started up by the Minister UNO from the early democracy in Myanmar, about 1940. And that dictionary is not finished yet, but volume by volume are published. And this is Pali Burmese dictionary. There is sometimes an English word here and there, but it's not English. And so it is Pali Burmese dictionary, which has about 25 volumes. Each volume is big like this and thick like this. Every word that you can ever think of is there in that dictionary with the quotes and the translation and the citation. Where do you find this in the scriptures? And it doesn't just take the Pali, you know, from the main scriptures, but it takes it from many other Pali books that were written later or earlier. So you get a very good understanding of how the word was used before and later. I am not aware of any such dictionary anywhere else in the world. So that's Burmese. Now back to basics, Pali. So Pali is the basics. After you learn Pali, you will have some good access to the Pali scriptures, but still it will not be 100% accurate. I'd say that the Burmese translations are 100% accurate. So you can like always rely. I always rely on them. Except that sometimes, you know, you get for one word many, many translations. So you need to be careful about the context where which translation has to be used. But I don't believe any other translation. It's so much extreme that Burmese is right and everything else is wrong. Okay? Because the Burmese is so accurate and the others are misleading. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're a little right, a little wrong, sometimes a little bit missing, sometimes a little bit made up. Not in Burmese. So to understand, however, Burmese, to understand Burmese Buddhist books, you need to know Pali. So even Burmese people today cannot really read the old Burmese books from great masters. They don't understand that because there are Pali words and they don't know the Pali. You need to know both Pali and Burmese to have the access to these ancient books about meditation, about enlightenment, about Buddhist philosophy, about the true nature of the world, and so on. I have it. I have it. So I'm telling you from my experience. And I would like to support you all in having it too, so that you have this full access to this treasure, hidden treasure. It is now hidden. 70 years ago, it was not hidden. Now it is hidden because people don't understand. People don't understand. 70 years ago, people did understand those Pali words because that was their culture. Now the Burmese culture is gradually fading away. It's substituted by the American culture. Okay? There are benefits and there are weaknesses. So it's important for us to know what we want and put our efforts in that direction. Okay, so anybody has any question, anything you would like to say? No question, nothing to say. Very well. So exercise 11. If you find any problems, any difficulties, just send it right away in Viber so that we can address them immediately and you can happily continue studying. When I study and I get stuck on something, I fully lose all of my enthusiasm and I just cannot continue. Yeah. I see some word and what's this? I don't understand. Oh, I don't want to study this. So if you're like me and you get stuck on a problem, well, then just send it in Viber and wait for the answer. Okay, we'll do our best to answer as soon as possible. Yes, Tanban? You're muted.
You cannot hear.
My Bante, it is difficult for me to learn Pali, but from your encourage us, so I'm trying to learn every day. So now I can use Anki. It is very useful for me to learn the new word and the 11 the declension of feminine nouns. Vanita, I don't know in the book it's not instrument.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the table? Do you have the table of the noun declensions? I'll send it again.
Yeah, I didn't. You have show me.
I have shared it in Viber. That's what I would use as soon as I would be answering these questions. So let me share it again so that everybody knows it. So everybody has easy access there. Okay. It's there.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Nice. So thank you everyone for coming. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.